Hello, this is Marcus from Bad Duck Farms. Just wanted to give you a little update. Today is April the 25th, and it's been a while, I guess a few weeks since I've done any updates on the YouTube, on the videos, but a lot's been going on. Today I am working on some of the areas of the farm that need some repair. Today, this is one of the areas of the farm that needs a lot more tender loving care to get back to normal, to a productive area. This is a really tall, kind of nasty, I guess it's actually kind of pretty, but it is invasive. Gets about, I guess, 8 or 10 feet tall. It's a striped reed grass, and it has pretty much overtaken this whole area here. I had my farmer come in, and he bush hogged it, and then kind of disked it, but he didn't till it up as well as I wanted him to. But as you can see, it makes these huge tubers that I'm not sure or rhizomes, I guess is more like it. But these have overtaken this entire area that you can see here. What I'm doing is I'm sheet mulching this area, and we'll leave it basically covered in 6 to 8 inches of leaves and cardboard over this entire growing season. And hopefully, with that much material over the top of it, it will smother out the reed. As you can see here, this is a lot of the tubers that I have pulled out. Can you see that? Yeah. This is a lot of tubers that I've pulled out of this bed. I was going to try to dig them out by hand, but they are, some of them like this, well, that's actually probably a different type of root, but this area is full of all different kinds of roots and these huge tubers, and it was just too much. It wasn't very productive. It was going to be a several year project. I'm hoping that with a layer of 6 to 8 inches, well, there's going to be cardboard underneath, and then 6 to 8 inches of leaves over the top of that it'll take it a while for it to come through, and hopefully it'll smother it out before it gets there. And what does come through, I'm hoping I'll be able to pull out by hand. But this entire area, as you can see from down there near the crepe myrtle, all this area I'm going to cover in 6 to 8 inches of leaves and cardboard to smother out that reed. What I'll do is I'll plant some sunflowers or some type of flower in the front to kind of hopefully disguise this a little bit, but I don't think it'll be too bad with it'll just be the brown, because I'll cover up all the cardboard, and it shouldn't be any weeds coming up, because I've got these. I was able to go, I went by the Dollar General and saw that they had these huge, they're like, I guess 5 foot by 4 foot, these 5 foot by 4 foot pieces of solid cardboard. The good thing about that is that when you overlap it, if you're not careful, you'll end up with, the weeds will be able to push their way up in between the 2 pieces of cardboard. But the good thing with this is I'm covering a huge area with one solid piece. So it would have to come up through the middle of it, and I'm hoping that by the time it's able to get through that it will have weakened considerably, because I've been keeping it mowed back, and then it will have weakened considerably, and it won't be able to actually break through the cardboard and then work its way up through the leaves. And if it does, I'm thinking it'll also be considerably weaker because of all the effort it's had to put out. But that is my big project for the day. As you can see here, I just recently mowed the grass, but I left my clover. This is crimson clover that I sowed in the fall in patches all around the yard and all throughout the garden and the farm. And it's doing well, but I didn't want to just not let it go to seed, so I'm letting it finish blooming. And once it blooms and drops its seeds, I'll mow it. It'll probably be the next mowing. It'll be, see, this has already gone to seed here, a lot of it. So by the time, in another week and a half, 2 weeks, this will all be gone, and we'll have dropped its seeds, and it'll be fine to mow it then, because it can stay small. It'll have produced its babies, and then hopefully it'll eventually intersperse itself within my grass, so it'll make a good, it brings nitrogen in to the, brings nitrogen into the soil, and it's also, I just like it, it's really pretty. It's also a really nutritious grass, so if I do decide to grow rabbits or chickens or anything like that, it'll be a good weed, I guess, kind of, but not really because I planted it. But it'll be a good feed for them, for chickens, rabbits, pretty much anything. Also, I can cut it down and use it as a mulch for my garden, and it'll bring nitrogen into the garden. This is my semi-weedy path, but it's kind of like what I want a little bit. It's it's got some shrubs and some plants and some herbs. There's some lemon balm and catnip and mint and comfrey and just some weeds and mint growing all around here. This is my little bedding area here. Well, it's going to be a perennial herb border basically eventually. But right now it's kind of just a weedy mess, but it's not too bad. So that's what's going on here. On down around here, so there's a volunteer sunflower. Yay, I love sunflowers. There's my first lilies coming up. See those little yellows? Those are pretty. They're hidden behind all this mess. I've got to get out here and clean all that up, but they're blooming. So that's pretty. These will be blooming very soon. These are beautiful. I'll have to definitely show you pictures of these when they come out. They're big and orange and with black polka dots. This is some of my seedlings that I planted in the spring. They're getting ready to go out into the ground. These are my tomato plants. This is Arkansas Traveler. This is Royal Hillbilly. I only had one of those come up, so I'm hoping it'll be really wonderful and it'll produce more seeds. This is Yellow Mortgage Lifter. This is Yellow Pear Cherry Tomatoes. I've also got several eggplant. I've got several peppers, other tomatoes. So they're coming up. They weren't quite as productive as I'd hoped, but oh well. This is my first year, so I'm learning a lot about everything I need to do. So next year they'll be sown more in a worm casting type of a seed starting. But this year they did okay. I mean, I got about 25 tomato plants, about 30 peppers, about 20 eggplant to come up out of these trays. So a good bit, and they're all organic and all heirloom, old-fashioned varieties, and they will be going in the ground in the next week or two. I'm just getting them good and strong before I put them out there. So these are doing well. Again, this is back up my path, back up into. We'll walk back out toward the garden. This is my perennial herb bed border. So, oh, this is a pink comfrey. Got the white comfrey on the other side, but this is kind of a purpley pink. See the buds? It's really pretty. This is a really strong medicinal herb. It's used as a, it's also called, well, maybe it's not. Anyway, it is, it's used in healing. It's used in healing properties, especially for cuts, sores, and stuff. Used to be taken internally, but now they recommend not against it because it's full of silica. And apparently it's not real good for your internal organs, but it's still really good for an external, for a poultice. It's also good to work into a salve for skin conditions, for rashes, for cuts, anything like that. So it's really pretty though. It's really pretty. There's a white version. This is more of a white version of it. I've got, I think, 4 different kinds. I've got Russian comfrey, one called, can't remember the names, but I've got like 3 different kinds of Russian, or 3 different kinds of comfrey in this little bed here, so they have slightly different growth habits and slightly different bloom structures. And then I've got my rosemary, big rosemary bushes. This is lemon balm here. I've got some mints. This is real pretty mint here. That's orange mint. I've got some lilies coming up back there. This is also lemon balm. This is catnip here. Really pretty. I'm probably going to cut that back soon because it's starting to open up in the center. It doesn't have quite the shape that I really like of it anymore. It's kind of falling apart. It got so big, it just sort of opened up. Same thing that happened to the comfrey.